All right, thank y'all for tuning in. This time we got the Secret Service Director, Ronald Rowe, going at it with the Congressman Pat Fallon. I'm not going to really hold y'all. We're going to dive right in.
So actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day. So actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day where we remember the more than 3,000 people that have died on 9/11. I actually
So he must be talking about these people back here. I see one of them over there.
Responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman.
were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Hey, yo. I can't help it, but his face, bruh. His face when you... They...
Respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
He said that's a bunch of horse hockey.
You're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question.
Please.
You are out of line, Congressman.
Don't try to bully me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are playing politics.
I am a public servant who has served this nation, and
you won't answer the question.
On our day, on our country's darkest day.
Committee will come to order. Committee will come to order.
I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that day?
No, I wasn't. I was there representing the United States Secret Service, sir.
Mr. Fallon, your time's expired.
Did not affect protective operations.
You know why you were there? Because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this job.
I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency.
You endangered President.
Congressman.
Vice President Harris's life because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a radio with you?
Mr. Fallon, your time has expired.
No, I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Please.
We are back in order now. We are back in order now.
Bully.
Thank you.
Well, sometimes things get a little heated in these
and I ain't gonna play this whole video.
Congressional testimonies, and obviously this is a topic that is enormously sensitive. I mean, imagine what this country would be like right now if things had gone differently, if that assassination attempt had been successful in Butler on July 13th. So emotions are running high. I believe the question was around his presence, Ronald Rowe, the acting director of Secret Service, because remember, the director stepped down after Butler, Kim Cheadle. But he's asking about his presence at that 9/11 ceremony and what the purpose of his positioning on that day was, and you can see it got extraordinarily emotional in there. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on what's going on as they try to figure out the future of the Secret Service and who should be held accountable. Well, a combative moment on Capitol Hill earlier today where the task force investigating the first attempt on Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania, pressed acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe on what is being done to prevent the failures of that day. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram live on Capitol Hill. Hi, Chad.
Martha, good afternoon. I have covered a lot of hearings over the years, and I have never seen a verbal rumble quite like this one. Now, look at this. Pat Fallon said Ronald Rowe got in this picture at Ground Zero on 9/11 out of vanity. Fallon says Rowe wants to become the full-time Secret Service director, so he stood close to President Biden, Vice President Harris, and President-elect Trump.
But that's their assumption. I think that's their assumption.
I know why you were there, because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this job.
I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency.
You endangered President
out of line, Congressman.
Vice President Harris's life because you put those agents out of position.
Rowe would not say whether he wants the job on a full-time basis when I pressed him in the hallway.
Have things gotten better at protecting the president-elect, and others? Will you stay on as Secret Service Director in the new administration?
Fallon said Rowe's position near the trio pushed aside other protective agents. Fallon says this demonstrates that the Secret Service did not improve after the assassination attempt on Mr. Trump's life in July. Now, bipartisan members of the panel investigating the assassination attempt are frustrated that they never got to examine the body of Thomas Crooks. The report is due next week.
No, I don't think it's any.
Boy. So what y'all think, man? Y'all think he needs to be replaced? If so, who y'all think qualified to take that position? Because we talking about protecting the president. I don't know. But we ain't got time to finish that whole video. We gotta go move on to the next one.
A fresh new glimpse at the massive amount of cash sanctuary cities have soaked up on people who are not American citizens. Both Denver and New York City are spending hundreds of millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars. So the citizens are paying all that money for people who are not citizens. And you won't believe we're...
It's crazy. Man, they paying people that's not even from out here for hotels for migrants. Damn, at least support your own people.
where some of the money is going.
Crazy.
New York City effectively paid $220 million to Pakistan in order to rent the Roosevelt Hotel as a full-time shelter for people who were not citizens, who many of them came across our border illegally, but they're here. Vivek Ramaswamy is going after this with this quote. A taxpayer-funded hotel for illegal immigrants is owned by the Pakistani government, which means NYC taxpayers are effectively paying a foreign government to house illegals in our own country. This is nuts, end quote. Now let's just go on over to the sanctuary city of Denver. According to one nonpartisan research report, the city has spent more than $356 million on its migrant response since December of 2022. That comes out to nearly $8,000 per.
So as I've been paying attention to all this stuff that's been coming out about how much money Kamala and them blew through, bruh, all the stuff that the government been wasting, bro, we could have been helping our own country. Make it make sense. Like, damn. But that's our fault because we've been under a rock. Time to get from under that
migrant
rock.
And 8% of the city's total budget. Now, that word migrant is not synonymous with illegal immigrant. And when you look at the percentages of people who came here either illegally or really do need to leave for crimes they're still committing, that's a big chunk. 356 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of money. There's a formula here, and let's put it very simply. You are an American citizen. You go to your job. You work 9 to 5. Maybe you work 2 jobs. Maybe you work more than 40 hours a week. Then you hand over this lump sum of cash to the federal government. If you're in a blue state like here in New York, you hand it over to the state government and to the city government. And then how confounding is it to you that you learn your money went to a foreign country to house foreigners who are illegal immigrants who came in illegally? Oh, wait, but there's more. The cherry on top of all of this, and it's not a cherry, it's a huge, huge problem. Laken Riley murder suspect received taxpayer-funded stay at Roosevelt Hotel. So you funded Jose Ibarra, a murderer, to stay in a luxury hotel before he killed a 22-year-old in Georgia who should still be with us here today. That's how it worked.
And we know post that trial just a couple of weeks ago that he...
Now, my only issue with all of this, right? I understand they pushing that, get the migrants out, the illegals anyway. I'm with all that. But why we not putting a big light on the shit that we doing to our own people?
And his brother were members of that Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. So if you want to hook up with your homies from south of the border who want to kill people, run cartel drugs, do all the thing, I guess you go to the hotel that Pakistan owns at the Roosevelt and then have American taxpayers pay for your stay.
You know what else is crazy, too? You know, a big chunk of federal went out by the Biden administration to a lot of states. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons earlier this year you started seeing states on the jobs reports doing better than expected. Like, oh, the jobs reports were great, you know. All that money was designed to be spent specifically for things like, to fatten up the jobs report or these sort of programs. But think about that tweet that Vivek retweeted, that X post. In conjunction with the International Monetary Fund, a $1.1 billion loan to Pakistan. Wait a minute. We're putting Americans at risk to put money into the pockets of the International Monetary Fund, which, by the way, lends money to these third world nations at rates that the mafia would blush at, right? I mean, you talk about the establishment, the international cartel of establishment holding everyone back and manipulating everything. This is nuts that your taxpayer money is going through all of these sort of things to deceive us and put us in harm at the same time. It's crazy.
I told you he was leaning in.
I think you.
International Monetary Fund.
IMF. Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Charles, because that blew me away when I saw this initial.
Bruh, when I first started really digging into this politics and because I'm educating myself as well, so you know a lot of this stuff is new to me. But man, just to think all our money and it's we the people, our money, like we go in the store, we pay taxes, we go to work, they take taxes out of our stuff. You get income tax at the end of the day, they taking out of that. So it's like all that money could be coming back into the country, bettering our economy. You know what I'm saying? Fixing the roads, you know, fixing the parks, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These abandoned buildings, at least if they're not gonna occupy them, at least fix them up. You know. They just, I don't know, bro. That's why we gotta get informed and know who we putting in power, bro. Like, we gotta be precise and accurate with who we picking. Majority of us ran and just voted for Kamala Harris, and I think really mostly because she was black and she was a black woman. That's it. A lot of the people that was saying they was voting for her, they really couldn't even tell you why they was voting for her. So it's really crazy. You know what I'm saying? We need to get educated, bro.
Report this morning that it was the IMF that's obviously loaning money to Pakistan. And then and by the way, it's the Pakistani airlines that owns the Roosevelt Hotel and then lease it back to the city of New York, who gets federal funding. But then also, remember, state and local taxpayers. To your point, Kayleigh, they're the ones that are funding all of this.
That seems so dirty.
It is. It's just a complete misuse of funding, and it just goes in a big fat circle. And this is why when Eric Adams was saying it's going to be $10 billion, and he was asking Biden for billions, you know, before he got indicted, by the way, that the Biden administration was scoffing. I don't know if that was politics or if that was just the fact that these estimates for what this was going to cost the city were completely out of control. One other thing that's happening to our local economy really quick, this year you've got all these tourists, here for the holidays, right, in New York City. You know, hotel prices are at new records, 7% higher than last year. So who is going to end up funding all of this? Tourists. Yeah. People coming to experience Christmas in New York.
They're soaking them so that they have cash left over to give it to people who came here illegally and want to sleep there.
The thing is, it's nuts to us, but not to the left. And that's what's so crazy about this. And you follow their line of thinking in all of this. I mean, look at after the trial of Laken Riley's killer. What did a media headline read? Laken Riley's killer never stood a chance. Not Laken Riley, the innocent person in this, but the illegal immigrant killer who came into our country who shouldn't be in the first place. Somehow he's the victim in this. Or you look at the interview between ABC's Martha Raddatz and J.D. Vance when she said, well, it's only a handful of apartment complexes that Trey Araga has taken over in Aurora, Colorado. And his response was, Martha, do you hear yourself? Do you realize how crazy this sounds? Or the fact that under the Biden administration, we've had...
And I watched all that stuff about TDA and all that. They going to 16 major cities and all that. Bro, man, get them out of here.
Hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens here, convicted criminals or facing charges that they have allowed to step foot in America. So, it should be nuts, but it's not to the left. And they have this twisted mentality where somehow they are putting, illegal aliens ahead of American citizens, we go last according to them.
So that number that you just were talking about, all of those who've come from other countries and they broke into our country, so they broke our law, but they had committed other crimes before. So just a few weeks ago, that number was 425,000. Today, we had it on the Faulkner Focus, and I said, hey, has that number moved? Yeah, it's over 435,000. You mean you found 10,000 more and they're still here?
Well, and how many more
Why can't you get rid of these people?
And how many are going to flood to sanctuary cities between now and January 20th?
Yeah.
49 days.
All right, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. We got one more to go to. And as Rumble going in on Meta, Zuckerberg.
He went in on the action. First, it was Meta's Mark Zuckerberg raising his hand, eager to work with the incoming Trump administration on shaping tech policy. But can we say the irony? Facebook and Instagram have a reputation for over-moderating content, even issuing multiple suspensions to then-President Trump. Now enter Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder and Washington Post owner. He's hoping to mend fences with President-elect. Watch.
I'm actually very optimistic this time around that we're going to see. I'm very hopeful about this. He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. And in my point of view, if I can help him do that, I'm going to help him.
But not so fast. Senior advisor Jason Miller didn't hold back, saying that Trump forgives, but he doesn't forget.
We know from President Trump and the way he governed in his first term, that he likes to build a broad coalition, bring people together, even if they've been against him in the past. He never forgets. And I would just remind people of that.
Joining us now, Rumble CEO and founder Chris Pavlovski. Chris, what do you make of the...
Now, I have not seen this or the last one, so y'all get my authentic reaction
about
to
face from big tech in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so I think, they kind of move whatever way the wind blows when it comes to actually holding values, and especially around the First Amendment, there are none. If we can all remember 4 years ago, it was the Hunter Biden laptop story where all these platforms started censoring factual information and, in my opinion, really helped sway the election in a major way. And I feel that there has to be consequences for things like that. We can't let that escape. They did real damage with the censorship they've done in the last 4 years. And that's something that Rumble has been fighting since 2020. Right. And we've been fighting fiercely. We're the first platform out there to platform President Trump in 2021. And, it wasn't until about 2022 where Elon Musk entered the market with X and also helped on the free speech front. So it's really important that there's consequences for this mass censorship that's happened over the last 4 years around COVID, around the elections. And if there's no consequences, then companies like Meta and Google will continue to abuse their powers and continue to sway elections in ways that shouldn't be happening. So I'm very for some type of consequence in this scenario. And, it's ultimately up and it's in the Trump administration's hands and to see what they'll do. But I think it's really important that for what they've done in the past, there are consequences.
Right, Chris, it's maybe keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Because remember, Bobby Kennedy, his account was shut down on Instagram, I think until last year, until he started running for the presidency. It's just astonishing. And they will destroy these companies, be it Meta or Google, through YouTube, they'll destroy you. They'll deplatform somebody and you will no longer have a business. And on that note, you have not only fought to give people a voice and the freedoms that are guaranteed to them under the Constitution, under our Bill of Rights and the First Amendment, but you've also gone to court. And just recently, you sued the state of California over this new anti-deep fake law, arguing that it does indeed violate the First Amendment.
Absolutely. So, it's one thing to talk the talk at Rumble. We walk the walk. We challenge we challenge states. We challenge governments around the world. We've challenged the New York State. We've also recently, as you mentioned, are challenging California. They went out of their way to submit a law. They're trying to pass a law that's going to ban and political satire. They're going after satire. This is like this is like something you would see out of North Korea.
Rumble is the platform that academics be using.
Not something you think you'd see out of California or anywhere in the United States or anywhere in the Western world. So seeing stuff like this is really troublesome. We sued the California AG, and so did the Babylon Bee. The Babylon Bee is also on Rumble, and they have all their contents on Rumble. And going out of their way to try to ban satire is something that we're not going to stand for. And it just goes to the mission that we're on. We're about, walking the walk, not walking the talk. We do it through action, and that's what we're doing in California.
Chris, I'm going to switch gears with you real quick. We just talked to a big Bitcoin bear. You're a Bitcoin bull. You're going to put $20 million worth of it on your balance sheet. Why?
So yeah, we recently announced that we're going to adopt the Bitcoin treasury strategy. Obviously, if you've taken a look at Bitcoin over the past decade, it's been volatile, but it continues to move up. I'm a firm believer in any decentralization currency, digital currency. This is a widely adopted currency, and contrasted to what your previous guest said, it is being used. It's being used multiple different ways. And one of the ways that I would like to see it being used is on Rumble, where creators can receive donations in BTC or Tether. They can receive donation or even get paid in BTC or Tether or US dollars, whatever they prefer. And that's kind of the...
Hey, yo, that's a fire idea, bro. And this just came out today. Nobody's talking about
the way we're moving the company, and that's the future. We see it around the world, and we see this adoption increasing, and it's
interesting.
Man, once he put that in play, bro, they stock gonna go up, bro. Cause I'm gonna fuck with Rumble. That's crazy, yo. What's that, man? Y'all let me know what y'all think of all that. It's a lot, I know. But I was gonna make it like 3 short-lived videos. But I was like, man, I don't feel like doing all that. Cause I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm gonna still do the music reactions. I'm gonna do some other reactions too. So I'm not really gonna be in a box on this channel. I'm thinking about starting a new channel, but that's probably later. After I monetize this channel, then yeah. So, man, yeah. So catch me on the next one, bro.